His method is brutal. His weapon is the beat. And his latest tracks are about to blow your mind. If he likes the way you move, he decides the way you dance.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ferry Corsten. This is Corsten's Countdown.
Yo, welcome to Corsten's Countdown 399 with me, Ferry Corsten. Thanks for tuning in. Corsten's Countdown is a chart show where you are in control of the music, because right after this show, you can vote for your favorite track of this episode via CORSTEN'SCountdown.com. Your vote is very important and you will help to decide which 3 tracks I'm going to play again next week in the Corsten's Countdown Top 3. So don't forget it, your vote does count.
Last week's Corsten's Countdown Top 3.
Before we start with the show, it's time first for a quick overview of the Corsten's Countdown Top 3 of last week.
3.
Last week at number 3, Tim Mason and Rapture.
2.
At number 2 last week, Tonka by myself, Ferry Corsten.
1.
And we had a new number 1 last week, and that was Beat As One, my collaboration with Angelica V, one of the tracks from my Hello World EP. And do we find that one at number 1 again this week, or do we have a new number 1? Make sure you stay here, because at the end of this episode, you will hear which tracks made it into the Corsten's Countdown Top 3 of this week. As always, I've selected lots of great new tracks for you for this week's show. In the next hour, you can listen to new music from Markus, Schulz. I have a new collab between Kyau and Albert and Stoneface and Terminal for you guys. And later in the show, I will also have a brand new track from Dimension for you guys. This week's Listener's Choice is an instrumental trance track that came out in the year 2004. Do you want to know which track I'm talking about here? Well, make sure you stay tuned, because you will hear this week's Listener's Choice later in the show. Do you use Twitter? Then please don't forget to follow and use the hashtag Corsten's Countdown during the show, so you can stay up to date about everything regarding Corsten's Countdown. Alright guys, it's time for the music. The first track in today's show is an upcoming release on Saturate Audio. This is Interamnia, a new track from Arcalis.
There's no stopping him. Corsten's Countdown. Are you ready to dance? who operates above the law. Above the law. Above the law.
Hi, I'm Jono from Above and Beyond, and you're listening to Corsten's Countdown.
Corsten's Countdown.
Just heard Tom Staar's 5am Blackout remix of All Over the World, a track by Above and Beyond featuring Alex Vargas. And that one will be out soon via Anjunabeats. Up next, the original mix of Back to Paradise by myself and singer-songwriter Harris. And that one will be out next week on the 23rd of February on the Hello World EP.
Corsten's Countdown. Exclusive.
These are the years that will be forever in our memory. Memory of a life in ecstasy, climbing to the top of the world. As soon as the hourglass will run out, we'll fill it up again, till we leave them wondering how we'll always be the way we are. And when you lose your place, lost your faith, I'll carry you back. When you lose your way, lose your
is what you've been waiting for. It will take more than just the skills. He knows the score. He brings you the latest and the best. Corsten's Countdown.
There's something you need to know, that I know why it breaks you, I know how you feel. Cause we are one heart, we are one soul. I'll help you to ease your pain, and I hope you can feel that I won't let you down. Something you need to know, that I know why it breaks you, I know how you feel. Cause we are one heart, we are one soul. I'll help you to ease your pain, and I hope you can feel that I won't let you down.
You just heard One, and that's a collaboration between Kyau and Albert and Stoneface and Terminal. Up next, an upcoming release on Flashover Trance from producers Nico Pavlidis and IT Kendo under their Code 432 alias. This is Meya.
Corsten's Countdown. Exclusive. Ferry Corsten. This is Corsten's Countdown. the beat. There's no stopping him. Let the music carry you. Bring that beat back. Corsten's Countdown.
Please don't forget to vote for your favorite track of this show via CORSTEN'SCountdown.com. Your vote is very important and you can help to decide which tracks will make it into the weekly Corsten's Countdown Top 3. You just heard Airstrike, and that's a collaboration between Linnea Schossow and Rafael Osmo. You are listening to Corsten's Countdown 399 with me, Ferry Corsten. This Friday I'm playing Ultra Buenos Aires in Argentina. You can see and hear me together with Markus Schulz as New World Punks, but I'm also doing a solo set at Ultra Buenos Aires. And on Saturday, Markus and myself are playing as New World Punks at Palmailla in Medellin, Colombia. Hope to see you there, guys. Please make sure to check out ferrycorsten.com for more info about me, all tour dates and everything regarding Corsten's Countdown, and of course, very important, the free weekly Corsten's Countdown podcast. The next track that I'm playing for you guys is the Solis and Truby remix of Winter Kills Me by Markus Schulz featuring Lady V.
Hi, this is Markus Schulz and you are listening to Corsten's Countdown.
Took me for granted.
Corsten's Countdown, your #1 dance show.
Hey, this is Dimension and you are listening to my new track on Corsten's Countdown.
This is Ferry Corsten.
CORSTEN'S Countdown.
Just heard a new track from Dimension. This was Furia. Okay, it's time for the listener's choice of this week. And for this week's listener's choice, we go back to the year 2004. In that year, Randy Katana released his track In Silence on Reset Records. And that one got requested by Linda Berg from Malmö in Sweden. Here it is, this week's listener's choice, the Txitxarro mix of In Silence by Randy Katana.
Corsten's Countdown. Listener's choice. This is Corsten's Countdown. Corsten's Countdown. Top 3.
Alright, it's time to announce the results of last week's voting. This is the Corsten's Countdown Top 3. At number 3 last week, the Jacob van Hage and Art Inc. collab, Teardown.
3.
You just heard this week's number 2, Make It Ours, by myself and Mr. Chris Jones.
It's time to vote right now.
Okay guys, the voting for this week's show is open now. You can now vote for your favorite track of this episode via CorstensCountdown.com. And of course you can also vote via the Ferry Corsten app, which you can download for free via ferrycorsten.com/app. Alright, it's time to announce the number 1 of this week. And we have a new number 1 again this week. The track that received most votes from you guys is Backlash by Adam Seller. Congratulations Adam, well deserved. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to vote, and until next week, later.
1. Corsten's Countdown.
Yeah.